Things are getting interesting now, people. Things are getting interesting now because bids are coming in for 2 players, 2 first-team players, and things in the transfer window in terms of incomings are picking up as well. And it is providing certain answers for certain players. It looks like we might have conclusions around these before, well, maybe the end of next week or this week. Where are we? It's Monday, right? So maybe by the end of this week, but certainly by next week's deadline, I expect a lot more players to be out than I originally expected. If you asked me a couple of days ago, hell, a couple of hours ago. And in terms of incomings, I remember Team News and Ticks saying, I think he did the rounds on socials that, that he's an ITK, obviously knows quite a lot in the transfer world. And he was saying, well, Arsenal transfer world, and he was saying there's a chance that Arsenal might do 2 to 3 incomings. And it's going to be interesting whether Mikel Marino is a part of that. So I'm going to explore everything and go through all the latest news. But welcome back to another live stream. I really wasn't going to do one tonight. I saw the Eddie Nketiah update from David Ornstein. And I'll be honest, I thought, okay, it's a bid, but it's been rejected. So the move isn't particularly close. Might be in a couple of days' time. It's not now. But with everything that's been coming through around Aaron Ramsdale as well, the fact that Joan Garcia, Joan, let me know in the comments how to pronounce it properly. That's all bubbled up massively through Fabrizio Romano. Looks like there might be a bidding war for Aaron Ramsdale, and things are picking up massively to the point where I thought, okay, just a lot's gone on. We really need to talk about it. Now, just a quick little bit of maintenance and stuff, housekeeping. Another thumbs up I didn't mean to do, but there we go. Hit the like button. There we go. May as well use that as a little prompt. But secondly, I've changed a few settings on my mic. If it's a bit poppy or like not coming through great, let me know. But if the audio is great, then brilliant. We'll carry on. But yeah, welcome back, everyone. We'll go into the comments very, very shortly. But I just want to get all the news out there. And in fact, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Rather than sort of go section by section, let me just update you very quickly on everything that we know. And it starts over here with David Ornstein. And in fact, let's go down. Right, this is the first thing that came through. So it's exclusive from David Ornstein saying that Forest are working on a deal to sign Eddie Nketiah from Arsenal, 25 million. That's including the add-ons. Opening bid was rejected, but talks continue. Let me pause before I read the rest of the tweet. I know some of you are waiting for my apology to say that we should have accepted the Marseille deal. You will get it, but let me just be stubborn for 1 second. Yeah, he's put here that he's Forest's top striker target. That's important. Arsenal 30 to 35 million. So they've pushed it up even more. The cheek. Ballas retained an interest, but no current club-to-club talks. Cool. Now, Ornstein then came in with this. Another exclusive. David's on fire. Wolves have made a proposal to sign Aaron Ramsdale from Arsenal's initial loan with a buy option not obligation. That's the important thing. Wolves would cover majority of 26-year-old goalkeeper's wages. I don't like the sound of this deal, may I say. Acceptance of Molyneux, that deal is difficult due to finances involved. Sorry, hiccups, or I just had dinner, apologies. Due to finances involved, but talks with Arsenal continue. Now, Sam C., I believe from the United Stand, has come in with some information saying that Wolves are among those interested in deal. He's confirmed what David Ornstein said. He's also added that he understands that Bournemouth are interested in the deal on loan. Arsenal 5 million plus the fee. A majority of wages paid. Southampton still interested. So a lot of clubs involved there. Now, as all this Ramsdale stuff is bubbling away, Fabrizio Romano flies in. Of course he does. Arsenal have already reached a verbal agreement with Spanish goalkeeper Joan Garcia on personal terms. He's a priority target for Arsenal to replace Aaron Ramsdale if he leaves in the final 10 days. Espanyol are aware of Arsenal's interest, but no official bid yet. It depends on Ramsdale. Lots to go through yet. We'll break those tweets down in a little bit more detail in a second. But I just wanted to give you the overview of what we're going to be covering throughout this live. It's all there, plenty happening. If more happens, please let me know in the comments and I will make sure to tackle it, because we're entering that point of the transfer window where anything could happen and things are breaking at silly hours. I was enjoying Tottenham dropping points. Next thing you know, there's transfer stuff to talk about. And maybe we'll touch on Tottenham and the Premier League opening weekend if we get a bit of time and do a little bit of Q&A. So, I love this already. 3 goalkeepers in this window. Mikel needs to be stopped. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Miles, we're going to address this. Lots of talk that we weren't going for another winger/striker after Eddie sell. I mean, Trossard may be used as a centre forward backup. Was that good enough? I think we need a winger at least. No, Miles, I'm with you. We will go into that. Thank you, Elliot. Welcome. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Pablo, I totally agree. Well, my voice broke. Looks like it's going to be a busy last 10 days in the transfer window. DJ Ash says, big up James. It's sounding more promising with the outgoings, which is definitely needed. I'm intrigued. Either Marino, who will we get? I'm also predicting more a winger that can play across the front three. Very kind of you, Lawrence. I really appreciate the support, and thank you to everyone that is tuning in. 600 of you already. Wow, thank you. I really, really appreciate you all jumping in. Audio's coming good. Okay, thank you, Nimsy. Thank you. Trevor, thank you. Brilliant. Okay, that's good. Okay, fine. Let's go into some more detail. Where would you like to start? Oh, look who it is. Another great videos dropped from the different knock. You have to go watch that, check it out. And good to see you, Alex. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining on my last live. Okay, everyone. I'm gonna put the comments away for a sec. Please keep them coming. I do go back through them. I will have a little look. I'm a very distracted human being. So best thing for me to do now is just focus on the stories. And let's go in the direction of the goalkeepers first. I think we should start there because we've got a lot of clarity in terms of the clubs interested, in terms of the potential deal on the table for Arsenal and a potential incoming. So let's go back to what we've got. Now, let's just start with my kind of reaction to the news we have here. I don't like this deal, but I think it's encouraging that there is a potential deal, and that there are suitors for Aaron Ramsdale. I really felt the minute the Newcastle, Chelsea's of this world went away. By the way, Sanchez looked poor, and Petrovic is being sold, so I wouldn't be totally surprised if Chelsea flew in last minute. But I hearing that Wolves, Southampton, Bournemouth, with all due respect to these clubs, I think Ramsdale is a bit too good. I think he's a Champions League level goalkeeper, Europa League level goalkeeper at least. But I also think goalkeeper's a weird position where the best goalkeepers don't always end up at the best clubs. Now, listen, these are all good clubs, right? Bournemouth and Wolves, I wholeheartedly expect to stay in the Premier League and be very competitive in it and challenge for the top 10. Southampton, we're yet to see quite how they'll do. Did they? They lost to Newcastle, didn't they? I forgot what happened. I need to watch match of the day. But the fact that there's kind of like a good Premier League move there for Aaron Ramsdale is probably, goodish news for him, but probably better news for us because Premier League buyers, right? There's a bit more money involved. I don't like a loan with an option. What is that? They don't have to take up that option. They do the loan, and you're covering the majority of the wages. I don't love this. Now I know he's on well over 100 grand a week or around 100 grand a week, because of course he was our number one when we gave him that new deal. He was 24 years old. There was lots of reason to give him that contract. No one was complaining about it at the time. I'm not going to complain about it now. But what I would say is that covering the most of his wages, initial loan, I didn't. Hit the like button. People, I'm not doing this thumbs up on purpose. Whenever it's popping up, I'm just going to use it as a prompt. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the stream. If you're not, you don't have to. But some feedback would be nice on why. It's got to be loan with an obligation. It just has to be. But this deal's tricky because when we're saying with an obligation, it's got to be it's got to be a good fee. We're not going to agree just a loan with a 15 million obligation. I think we want 30 million minimum. And I think where we are in the window, 25 million. As long as we're making a profit on letting Ramsdale go and Joan Garcia coming in, that's got to be the way this deal shapes up. But, I don't like, this line here, acceptance of money that deal difficult due to finances involved. I mean, it's like it really sounds like they're just sort of really not in a position to do it. And of course, they just sold Pedro Neto. So that would have made them some money, but I think they'd want to address Pedro Neto and that cash influx with, another forward, I imagine. And not that I'm particularly familiar with Wolves' situation. Jose Sarr has been a good goalkeeper for them for the last year or two, so I don't know why this would feel like an urgent one for them to do, unless they just see a market opportunity and they explored it by going with a loan with an option. That could be all it is. But interesting that, like I said, Sam came in saying that Bournemouth are interested too on loan. Southampton are, I have to be honest, people. While I'm obviously encouraged that a lot's been happening, and this is clearly it's been picked up by mainstream media, which suggests that things are moving. And Ramsdale does feel too good to just be sat on the bench again for us another season. And I think I mentioned it on a live or a video recently that he feels more detached from the squad than ever before. Didn't return early to sort of play in pre-season. I'm not saying he should have, but just interesting that he didn't, where the likes of sort of Adam Wharton did, for example, for Palace. Interesting that he didn't get a single minute in the Emirates friendlies. And of course, now he's just on the bench, but we haven't really heard from him or seen a minute of him in pre-season, which is really strange. I just don't think that these deals feel like they're really close. The thing about this Forest bid that came in for Eddie Nketiah is a £25 million bid that's coming, including add-ons. You think, well, you're not miles off. Now, Arsenal might feel they're miles off. I think all of us as fans see that and go, okay, they're kind of a serious buy here, and we'll see what they come with next. These deals for Aaron Ramsdale don't feel like they're anywhere near what Arsenal would want. Because again, when they're saying option, if Wolves come in and say, we want a loan with an option to buy for 30 million, then Arsenal need to twist their arm to make that an obligation. But I'm not sure they're anywhere near that. I'm not sure. But and if anyone's got any more information on that I might have missed, please let me know in the comment section below. Let's get your reaction to that as we hit 10 minutes. Oslo says, good evening, Chains. What's the news about Ramsdale, Eddie Nketiah, and Joan Garcia? So we'll touch on all that as well. Yeah, this is what I agree. Triple. So let me just adjust my screen size. There we go. They already have a good goalkeeper. Surprised they're going for Ramsdale. That is very much where I am with this. I don't see the urgency for them to the point of spending the kind of money that we would want. I hope I'm wrong. Vlad comes in. I'm not a fan of a loan with obligation either, but it's a good move for him. For us, at least the wages are gone, and hopefully he has a good loan spell to allow us to get a good sale next summer. One way of thinking about it, and would certainly put this whole finances debate to the test. Some people still saying, well, we haven't spent money because we don't have it. Others are saying, no, we haven't spent money because we haven't found the right deals for us. That will give us some clarity if we're ultimately willing to just send him out on loan. And maybe if you get a good enough option, maybe if the option's like 30 to 35 million, Arsenal will agree because they will back him to go do really well. The Wolves fans will love him. There'll be some sort of internal pressure to actually get that deal done. So that could be something that happens. That wouldn't massively surprise me. What else have I missed? We've got a super chat. Suj, thank you so much. Big up, James. Love the content that's getting produced. Hit the like. Oh, thank you. The more keepers we go for reminds me of Chelsea and their 7. I would say though, Suj, and there's been, thank you for your super chat, firstly. There has been a little bit of frustration online when the Garcia stuff came out. So just to remind you, if you're only joining now, this from Fabrizio Romano, that a verbal agreement is there with Spanish goalkeeper Joan Garcia. First we heard of this Garcia thing, by the way, was like June, like really in the summer. I think a Barcelona reporter was talking about him because maybe Barca were linked, and he was that might not have been the reason. It might be because he covered both clubs. But he said, from what I've heard, Garcia's off to Arsenal. So it could be that early on, Arsenal knew that ultimately bids for Ramsdale were going to come and that Garcia sort of was ready to go and that Arsenal could do that deal. Let's see. But the priority if Ramsdale leaves and he would come in and be our number 2. But suppose this guy's got good potential. So who knows? Maybe he pushes David Raya. But like I said a few weeks ago, it's a sickness, all this signing goalkeepers. We love them. But I would say that Raya, Garcia, Setford, much more balanced trio of goalkeepers than it was when it was like Raya, Ramsdale, Hine. It felt like 2 number 1s and a number 3. Here, that makes a little bit more sense. But anyway, so people were reacting to this not in the best way. No one was particularly happy. So going back to Suja's super chat, where he's sort of saying reminds the Chelsea situation. Look, we've got things wrong in the transfer market when it comes to goalkeepers. I don't think anyone's denying that. Runnison, then Matt Ryan had to come in. Then we signed Ramsdale, but 2 years on, he wasn't the right guy. Bernd Leno to go. We sold Emi Martinez, decided to keep Bernd Leno. Turns out Martinez is the one we should have kept. And it goes on and on and on. Now, my feeling is that you can't expect Aaron Ramsdale to go and a replacement not to come in. Hine's gone out on loan. I'm not even going to tell you all to hit the like button. So if I do that on demand, it doesn't do it. So I'm just going to put my hands down. It's because I'm very demonstrative. So you would expect a second goalkeeper, surely. You just would. I understand we're all frustrated the forwards not coming. I mean, I've done many a piece of content around this, have I not? But I can't be complaining. You know, the forward thing will be addressed, and we'll talk about that in more detail with the Eddie Nketiah stuff. But if Ramsdale goes, we need to get a dependable second goalkeeper. And Joan Garcia might for around, I think they said in the Athletic article that Arsenal think they could get him for around 15 million euros. So what's that, 12, 13 million quid? And even if it's around 15 million quid, it's about right, I would think, for someone who does have a good reputation, but it's coming to be a number 2. Hopefully they can play some Champions League football. So one thing we didn't do last year was give Ramsdale some Champions League group stage minutes. Actually, we did. Excuse me. It was in the last game. We were basically through PSV away. So yeah, hopefully he can play a little, a couple more minutes, in terms of maybe 2-3 other games if things are looking good from that qualifying perspective. And also certainly playing the cups and do quite well. So let's see. But my feelings about the forward are totally separate to my feelings on this Garcia deal. If Ramsdale goes, get this Garcia deal done, because it just makes complete and utter sense. Now, let's talk about the Eddie Nketiah stuff. And then I'll also tell you in a little bit more detail what I mean by sort of the title on the thumbnail, sort of 2 out, 3 in. So how do I feel about this deal? 25 million including add-ons. Now, a lot of you are waiting, I'm sure, for the apology after the live stream I did on Eddie Nketiah. I think a week ago exactly it was. Here's what I'll say. Of course, hold my hands up. I was wrong. I said that we should have taken the loan with an obligation of 23 million from Marseille. I really want to stress this, okay? Because I went into the window saying that we should be looking for 25 to 30 million for Eddie Nketiah. So these fees aren't surprising me. I wasn't the kind saying, oh, just take 15 million and run. I rate him better than that, and I felt he was worth that. But it got so late in the window that I just thought, Marseille have come in, and we heard so little in terms of other clubs and other suitors that we were sitting not to do that deal. I would say that if this doesn't get done, I'm going to feel the same as I did about this, as I did about Marseille not happening. Of course, Bournemouth didn't happen. So this is the third mini saga going for Eddie Nketiah. I'd like to see him stay in the Premier League. I'd love to see how he does. I think it's a good fit for the club. It's a big club as well. Of course, they've got a fantastic history, and it'd be great to see how he does. It's going to be interesting, him battling with Chris Wood and battling with Awani, who, of course, when fit, is a very good player. So the fit's really interesting for Eddie Nketiah. I think he'd do quite well there as well. And he's with a lot of other players like Alanga and Hudson-Odoi, who sort of revived their careers, having struggled at other bigger clubs. So, that has worked for other players. I really wonder if it would for Nketiah. I think it probably would. But what I would say is that we've rejected this 25 million. Will they come back for around 30, 35? Forest feel like the kind of club that would, but I really hope they would, because I'll be really disappointed if they don't. And again, I'll be really disappointed if we miss out on this. Remember when I went live about the Marseille stuff, is because they'd come away and the deal was off the table. My point still stands that we should have taken that deal ultimately if this doesn't get done, or we should have taken this one with Forest at 25 million. At that point, there's not too much in it, including the add-ons and all that. So it's good that Arsenal are getting near their valuation, and fair play to Edu. If he gets near that 30, 35 million, you've got to say he's done a really good job. And he's ultimately, let's take this off the screen now. And he's ultimately stuck to his guns, stuck to his valuation, clearly knows a lot more about the market that's there for Eddie Nketiah, and has held his nerve, and clubs are coming in now. But I do feel that is around the fee. Like, we're not far off here. If we get 30 to 35, and I think we've done great business. And again, I'll hold my hands up. I felt we should have taken the Marseille deal. This would just be significantly better business. But I also want to stress this. The frustration about where we were with the Eddie Nketiah situation last week and him not going to Marseille, it wasn't, oh no, the club aren't going to make money, I'm really annoyed. It's about moving things along in the transfer window so we can get a forward in. Whatever happens with Eddie Nketiah, and I really mean it in the nicest way, of course, we're judging everything the club do. We're passing opinion on everything. So Edu selling him for 30, 35 million, I'm going to give him significantly more props for that than I am the Marseille deal at 23 million, especially as he rejected one to wait for the other. Of course, all credit given. But it's all with a view to a forward coming in. It's all with a view to us then strengthening that position. Because losing a player that Arteta has played, given significant minutes to in the last few years, and not replacing him, whatever we think of Eddie Nketiah, is actually weakening the squad, or at least it's certainly not strengthening it. So, yes, I'm happy that another club's come in, and I'm happy things are moving along. But we do need we need a forward to come in, and with Eddie leaving, that only accentuates it, I think. So fair play. And everyone who said to me, James, no, we had to hold out. We have to hold out. And better will come. Fair play to you all. You're absolutely correct. And I was absolutely wrong. But it kind of really is a secondary point for me, because it's a week we've lost, maybe not chasing a forward, because this deal hasn't been resolved. There's what? Monday. So call it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's about 11 days left of the transfer window. It's not long. It really isn't long for Arsenal to get Eddie Nketiah done, Aaron Ramsdale done, a goalkeeper to come in. And these are the three in that I'm potentially talking about. Mikel Merino, which we now know is very, very close, supposedly. He did train with Real Sociedad today, but of course he would. He was left out the matchday squad, so that's a sign of encouragement. Romano's telling us that it's super, super close. So Mikel Merino in, Joan Garcia in, and if we can get that forward, I'll feel so good about our transfer window. Honestly, I will. I'll say fair play. Ramsdale and Nketiah, Smith Rowe, maybe Reece Nelson. Who knows with Kivior? If kind of those three, but maybe the fourth and fifth go, and we're able to add again from goalkeeper up to the attack, Garcia, Calafiori, Marino, and a forward. Obviously, who that forward is will depend how I'm sort of judging this window. But it takes massive strides forward for me in terms of ratings out of 10 for how good I think it is. So yeah, it's looking like it's picking up. It's looking like it's getting busier, and I'm definitely happy about it. But I remain just slightly grounded because Bournemouth fell through, Marseille fell through. We don't really know of anything concrete for Reece Nelson. I think Leicester were linked. Someone made a really good point. Oh, I wish I could credit them. If you know who made this point, let me know in the comments. I really wish I could credit them. Was it Alex? Was it you, Alex? Different knock. Let me know in the comments if it was you. As the season starts and football is getting played, I love how I'm just talking directly to Alex because he messaged me saying he's watching this. As the season's getting played out and a few clubs start the season, they lose a few games or whatever, and they kind of realize their shortcomings, they kind of panic a little bit. And that's where maybe a club would come in for a Reece Nelson. So it would be interesting in that front if someone comes in. That would be interesting, but I'm not seeing too much yet. So that's the state of play. Potentially 2 more out, Ramsdale and Eddie, and 3 in, Marino, a goalkeeper, and a forward if Eddie goes. A lot of people are saying that they're not convinced that Arsenal go for a forward just because Eddie leaves. I think we need one, even if he stays. If he leaves, I definitely think we need one. If him and Nelson leaves, it'll be a travesty if we don't sign one. But this is Arsenal. Like, I get the squad is big. I do. And Ranieri might surprise us, and I hear all this and that and whatever. But, I mean, who was it? Team News and Ticks that said that if Arsenal were able to identify a replacement, then they would consider Vieira going out on loan. I quite like the sound of that. I like Vieira a lot. But I don't know, if you can get him out on loan and Nwaneri competes with Odegaard for that position, very young. But listen, Vieira's not getting those minutes, so maybe Nwaneri does. And then you've got kind of Marino, Rice, Partey, Jorginho, Nwaneri, Odegaard. And then you go big on that forward line again. Maybe an Eze who can play in the 10. I don't know. I don't know. Now I'm just going way too far with it. But it's just interesting to see how things are developing, certainly in the last 24 hours or so. Anyway, I've been rattling on. Let's get all your comments and thoughts and super chats. Here we go. Alejandro says, we need to stop worrying and trust Edu and Mikel. Alejandro, when I do these live streams, say last week with Eddie, there's a fine line between I'm starting to feel a little concerned. I feel like I'm a little bit disappointed. Said, this thing didn't happen, or that thing didn't happen. There's kind of a line between that and like I'm worried, I'm panicking. I've been on record on lots of things, whether it be AFTV, whether it be here, saying I'm not panic about the window, and my prediction remained that Eddie would go, and then we probably would sign a forward. It was just looking worse and worse, and so you start to sort of have doubts. I would say that for all of Edu and Mikel's great work rebuilding the squad and getting into such a great place, it has always felt like the window's ended with one thing not done, another thing not done. There's always been something where I've thought, just that player and it would have been perfect. Just that one more player, and it would have been great. And I know not every club does all the business they always want to do, but I think too often we've gone into windows having done really good business, but always just been like that one player short. If we go another summer without signing like a semi-high profile winger, I do think that'd be quite disappointing. So I do trust them, but it wouldn't surprise me if they ultimately also opted to let me stop sharing that, sorry. It also wouldn't surprise me if they opted to not sign a forward because there wasn't the perfect player out there and therefore we're left a little bit short. I mean, that would be a little bit true to form. So he says, off topic, Suge. Off topic and apologies. With the possibility of letting Ramsdale and Eddie go after Smith Rowe, are we close to not having enough homegrown players? It's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. It's something that I've no doubt Arsenal are following extremely closely. I'm sure they will know whether they are, whether they're filling those quotas and all that. We are always the club that do things to the book, or at least try to. So just wouldn't. Yeah, they'll be on top of that. It's a good question. I don't know the answer, but I wouldn't worry about it for 1 second. Did Alex, the different knock, fly in with the answer to my question? It was you. Okay, fantastic. That's good to know. I thought it might have been. There we go. But it was also you, James Robertson. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Oh gosh, I didn't have to pull this up on screen. Quick fire. Who's better, Emery or Arteta? Okay, let me just say this, and you're going to call me sitting on the fence. There is no way that you can put Mikel Arteta's CV up against Unai Emery's. You just can't. And anybody who is, arguing with that, it's getting very delusional at that point. However, managers are expected to do the job now in the present, and every club requires a different job, requires a different expectation, requires whatever. I think Unai Emery is brilliant, and the way Arsenal fans reflect on Unai Emery's time, I think is very unfair. I think his first season ended badly, but had lots of positives. Second half season he had was a disaster. I would not trade Mikel Arteta for Unai Emery in a million years. Not where we are right now, not what we're doing. So does that answer it? That to me, I think Arteta's better. For us, he's better. But that's all, and that's all I care about. For other clubs, I don't know. Maybe not. But it's just that is just how I feel about Mikel Arteta. I wouldn't ever, certainly right now, I wouldn't trade him for Unai Emery. But Emery's doing a great job. Took Villa to the Champions League, has won 4 Europa Leagues, and he's a clearly very, very good manager. And I'm genuinely happy for him. Villa fans think I hate him. I don't. I really like him. But yeah, it's a debate that's been raging all week. And you're right. Some people are saying, don't promote it. Look, if people think they prefer Emery, fine. I really don't care enough. I'm very happy with the manager we've got. Love him to bits, and things are going great for us. And hopefully this is the season we win the big one. And we just don't have to answer these questions and debates and all that. Anyway, everyone, just finally, wasn't it great to see Tottenham drop points again? That's all I'll say. They were the only kind of real big shock of the weekend, I think. But yeah, I was watching that because I missed the first half, and all my timeline said was like, Leicester are terrible, Leicester are going down, Leicester are a joke, they're awful. And I looked at their 11, I thought, I've seen much worse 11s like promoted from the Premier League. Indeed, in that second half from what I watched, did some great stuff. Jamie Vardy, I know he's 37, but what more has he got to prove to everyone? Show that he's got his moments still. So yeah, I just wasn't surprised that Leicester came back into it. Steve Cooper's a good manager as well. So I felt people were disrespecting Leicester a little bit. Tottenham just can't defend, can they? But they probably should have taken a few more chances and won that game. But there we go. I'm obviously happy they've dropped points early on. They did start with a draw at Brentford 2-2 last year. So they've done this before, but hopefully the Ange Postecoglou effect has been found out from last season going into this. But let's see. I do actually think Solanke is a good signing, irritatingly. All right, everyone. We'll leave it there. That's all the news from the day. A little bit of Premier League action, reaction there. But mainly, it's everything around Eddie Nketiah. Forest to bid £25 million, including the add-ons, Arsenal 30 to 35. Will they come back? Ramsdale is wanted by Wolves, loan with an option. I think we probably want an obligation. Bournemouth, Southampton interested too. A forward, will they come in if Eddie Nketiah leaves? Mirko Moreno's close, and Joan Garcia would be the replacement for Aaron Ramsdale if that deal gets done. All right, everyone, you've all been fantastic. Thank you so much for joining. I really, really appreciate it. We'll do these live streams when they're necessary on nights like tonight. Thank you to all of you tuning in. Can I do the thumbs up? Hey, it worked. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this stream, everyone. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And I'll be back with the podcast on Wednesday, unless there's more breaking news, in which case we'll cover it on the lives. See you very soon, everyone. Bye-bye.